Thank you very much, Marcus, for being available. I knew you had a session previous to this in the university also. It would be a busy day for you because you went there and then you're coming here. So thank you very much. Though you were busy, you tried to accommodate our session also within the same time frame. And for everyone else, I suppose obviously he doesn't require any introduction. He's a very well-known researcher and a popular face with regards to key opinion leader too. But yeah, I still have to say the word. So here's his introduction. He's a global director of embryology research at IVIRMA Research Alliance and a senior embryologist at IVI Valencia unit. And he has done his PhD in obstetrics and gynecology as well as European doctorate degree from University of Valencia, Spain. He is very well known not only in Europe but also ASRM because he has got 7 times the ASRM Star Award, which latest was also last time in 2024, and has many other such achievements under his name, like a prized paper of ASRM 3 times, Lalor Foundation International Award for again ASRM, and many such. Uh, with H index of more than 66, we can understand his reach not only directly but also with regards to quality and quantity both. And over 550 publications with more than 13,000 citations. He's a researcher who is well known amongst everyone. So thank you, Marcus, for being available for this session. We always know that with regards to future, you have a lot of things in your pipeline, and with so many research which you have already done and also being conducted right now, it will lead us to show how is the future of IVF. So the topic, I think you're the best person to do justice to this topic, with already into a lot of technologies and innovative pilots and research been conducted at your place. So the
I think without wasting any time, yes, over to you, Marcus.
Thank you. Well, first of all, you have to give me permission to share the screen because actually with the how is the connection now or the performance, I can't share the screen. I mean, sharing the screen is not habilitated, so you have to do that because if not, I can't share the screen. That's first thing. So you can now I can do it. Perfect.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank the Naval, thank Indira to invite me to this activity. And I'm very pleased to be with you guys with India. I take the liberty to talk about the future, but even I take the liberty not to talk about the things that I'm doing now in the lab, that you know that we are doing a lot of research about AI especially. So it's going to be more about what I believe is the future and the things that are in the market that I think are interesting. And I have bring you some videos also to share with you about this. So let me share the screen.
Yes.
So again, thank you for, so I take the liberty to talk a little bit of the future of IVF, but I have bring data that is in my experience visiting some of the clinics and groups that are doing research. So I'm going to take a little bit about the current approaches in automation, in gametes, and in embryos. And I'm doing that using like a reference, this paper that we published in Fertility and Prosperity, in which we talk about the approach of automation in reproductive technology that I did with Valentina Castianic, which is one of the embryologists working with us in IVIRMA in Italy. So first of all, talking a bit the work that has been done in gametes, there are many studies about the use of microfluidics, for example, for sperm preparation. Very simple, with inlet ports in which we include culture media and the sample. And then we have like a flow, in some of the cases using membranes that are able to split or separate in different outlets the type of sperm that we want. Normally using a flow direction, and again with very simple. I mean, most of you know all these devices, for example, the Simo, the harvester, that are using this concept of microfluidics to do selection. There are other ways to do it a little bit more complex. This is one of the systems that I have seen that is using some kind of movement and pipette control to use the sperm and select those that are motile, that is based in gravity and a fluid flow. So a combination of a fluid flow plus gravity is able to help us to isolate or obtain the sorted sperm by suction. So this is another example of a microfluidic device using pipettes and flow gravity. There are many others that has been designed for other things. For example, this is well known and is based in electricity. Is using a membrane of polycarbonate and a flow of culture media all together that is able to separate the sperm and isolate for the other cells, but additionally to that is able to take into consideration the possibility of different charge of the head of the sperm to isolate not only sperm, but also isolate with low DNA fragmentation, for example. There are other systems that has been developed using several ways through microfluidics to do a flow fractionation. So keeping in mind that the fluid physics causes cells of certain size to move forward along a stream path, and they can align themselves on the walls depending on the size. And some of them are even using spiral channels and places that are expanded. So places of expansion, places that are more narrow, like pinched segments, and these spiral channels in which the inertia of the fluids and in a spiral cone causes the cells move forward in an equilibrium position. So it's, let's say that we are able to separate the cells depending on the site in this spiral fluid. And after that, when we go through pinch segments of extended segments, we were able to separate the cells in different sizes using microfluidics. That can be used for sperm, but can be used also for oocytes. And there are companies that are doing this with oocytes. Other type of microfluidic device that we have seen is, for example, this one. Let me use the laser pointed, that is able to try to denudate the oocyte. This is the oocyte denudation chip, using again an infuse of some kind of pressure in an amount of volume of 1 ml per minute, and going through channels that has this system with these incisions that are moving in that way, is a way that you can eliminate the granulosa cells at the end, the cumulus cells, and then you have the oocyte free of granulosa cells that is able to denudate. And there are companies like, for example, Auto IVF that is working in this sense to denudate, to make the denudation of the oocytes going through these narrow channels with this type of structure. Like and small incisions is like a scale that may help us to remove the granulosa cells. If we go to the market, there are many other systems like this that are microfluidic devices with different wells that are in a biochip, in which the shear stress is calculated. And when you have the oocytes, or even the, this is from Noverture, by the way, in this case are zygotes of bovines that are going through denudation. So they are using narrow channels. It takes sometimes to do it. It's like the oocyte is moving back and forward in this well. Together with hyaluronidase, you are able to denudate the oocyte, and the shear stress that the oocyte is suffering through this process of microfluidics using this movement of the oocyte and in this particular structure allows you to denudate the oocyte, reducing the shear stress. There are many other systems in the market. For example, in the market, not in the research. This site is the initial automatic ICSI that was developed a long time ago, that was able to identify the sperm and immobilize and then microinject in the oocytes in the same place with ICSI micropipettes, with a cell holding device, with a rotational stage, with a vacuum tubing to keep the oocytes in a special position, with a motor that is able to do a rotational stage, and this system that is able to automate and track and immobilize sperm, and then do the microinjection with an automatic spermoocytes which are moving through different levels. There are other channels like this one that is based in microfluidics that supposedly using a channel of 10 millimeters is able to separate, going through different places through a fluid, and the oocytes in different quality, depending on the behavior of the features of that oocyte. I mean, it's difficult to understand actually this process, how it works, but let's say that we're proposing a system that is able to separate oocytes in different quality using microfluidics. Well, the approaches that I have mentioned before, that are all these slides, are related with the gametes. Immobilize sperm, separate sperm using microfluidics, denudate oocytes, or separate oocytes depending on the quality. But there are also approaches to do the automation in the embryos in many aspects. It has been published papers about just oocyte insemination using special wells in which the oocytes are fixed, and we introduce the sperm, and using microchannels, this sperm is moving forward from one place to another. All this system has been designed like a microchips to do insemination or to change the media in which the embryos are growing, reducing the shear stress. All these systems are based in a system of channels and pumps that are moving forward the sperm, or are just moving the media and keeping in the same position the embryos, with micro channels that are able to keep in a well the embryo, but able to exchange the media. And all this information, of course, can be together present in order to make like a full automation of the lab. Imagine a situation in which, of course, you have incubators with time lapse, you have an automatic ICSI machine, you have a system to do automatic denudation through microchannels, you can have a system to do a sperm selection through different ways of microfluidics, even using electrophoresis, and everything controlled by a software and by a joystick that you can have outside of the laboratory. So all this theory has been put into reality actually. I mean, are robots replacing embryologists potentially? I mean, I just have go through things that are already in the market that are potentially useful. This is one of the oldest, which is the Gavi. Gavi is one of the first robots that were designed to do automatic vitrification. You know that they use these cassettes that are placed in a position, and basically using microfluidics, you keep the oocyte in the same position, or the embryo, and you exchange, or the software, the robot is exchanging the media automatically. And afterwards, you just remove the cassette, you put in liquid nitrogen, and you vitrify. The device, again, is like this. You can put the embryos or the oocytes there at the bottom, and then the media is exchanged. All the media is in different places around these wells in which the embryos are. You put this in the inside of the machine, and you few seconds, few minutes, and you have the oocytes ready to be vitrified. So I have put you here a video. It's with an audio, so you can see how it works, or how they were selling this. Well, this device, the device of Genea Biomedics, is a device that at the end is if you take a look, you don't, I mean, the last part that you have to put the embryos or the oocytes in the liquid nitrogen, it looks that it's done by someone, I mean, by God, I don't know, but actually you need to do manually. So it's not totally automatic. This device is not totally automatic for sure. And it was one of the first devices that appeared. We haven't used in IVI because we were not convinced initially about the full automation. It was not fully automated. There was another system called SARA that was developed in Israel that is more automatic because you see it's a carousel in which the media, the embryos are growing from different type of media. You should hear how more or less it works. This was probably more automatic than the Gavi. Actually, this didn't come into the market, and the reasons behind, I really don't know. I guess that technologically there were some problems behind, but it was quite much more maybe sophisticated like the Gavi, but it did not appear, or at least as far as I know, I haven't seen in the market. It's called Fertilizate, but probably maybe something that I'm missing. This is the automatic vitrification device from, it's called Davitri for Overture. This is conceptually similar to the other devices like Gavi or Sara. At the end, you have to load the embryos in the cryotop manually, but all the steps of the culture media are done automatically by the system. So it's a semi-automatic vitrification process from Overture. Of course, there are also robots that are able to help you in the cryo storage. And I guess that most of you know Tomorrow, because Tomorrow is a company that has been in the market for many years. And they have this last robot that is doing automatically the cryo storage. I mean, you bring your sample, your patient cryotop in a goblet called Beacon, and automatically it's stored inside of the tank. There is also cryo insurance. I will show you how it works. I have videos of all of them. That is, again, a totally automatic robot for cryopreservation. It's called RD, and then is the Gelida from Genea that I haven't seen any video, but it looks the biggest of all these three. I have this video from, let me see if it works. Yes, this is the video from Cryo Insurance. So you see here the robot, how it works. You have your cryotop or whatever device that you're using. That device includes a radio frequency tag that is included in the device. For example, the cryotop or whatever that you are using is adaptable to all of them. In this video, it's showing you that you can use it for all of them. So once it's with liquid nitrogen and you put there the sample and you put in the lid, you have to put in inside of the with this of this cover, which is done by metal. And once you do it, you go directly to the tank, you press the patient is identified, is read by the barcode, or is read by the RFID. So everything is all the time followed up by this software. So you are able to detect in any case that is inside of liquid nitrogen and detected by the system. So once you put it there, you press the button, and in few seconds, the sample is stored in this carousel. And the good thing of this device is that you have the camera in which you can see that in reality, the sample is inside of the tank. It's done totally automatic. And the best thing that I have seen from this is that you don't need to refill with liquid nitrogen. I mean, you can use it once you fill up nitrogen. The system is able to do a cryo cool. So once you have the tank, you plug into the energy, and you don't need to refill. It's totally stable. So it's one of the first times that I see a tank that automatically, I mean, without the need to refill, gives you the tank full of nitrogen. So you don't need to spend money in nitrogen. If you want to take it out, again, it's very simple. You go directly, you ask for that sample, you take it from the liquid nitrogen directly from the tank, and you use it. So it's super cool. It's one of the things the coolest tanks that I have seen actually in the market. It's called RD. This is tomorrow. From tomorrow, this is the render that I saw in the in internet. This is the beacon. The beacon has radio frequency. Again, everything is moved from one place to another, and you go directly to the tank of tomorrow. And then with radio frequency, you put the beacons there. The beacons are detected by the software, so you know that the sample is there. You put it inside, and then it's stored automatically. So this is one of the first robots that tomorrow did, in which the samples are stored. Actually, they have a huge repository in Denver, and it's super interesting too, because everything is well recorded. All the positions are clear, and everything is related with our FID position. This is tomorrow. Of course, they talk about repositories, because at the end they keep the samples in one place. Here I have a video that I was not able to remove this thing there. That is the new tank of tomorrow. This is a little bit more automatic than the other, because once you put the sample there, you tell it to the machine, you give it, and then from the computer, you can press the button and the system is stored internally. More or less, the device works more or less in the same way than the RD of credit insurance. It's very similar. This is the concept of automation. Is the concept of you see inside how is the system, and how is able to store internally the sample. So again, very, very interesting. This is again tomorrow. The idea of tomorrow, of course, reduce the risk in the management of the samples. And you don't pay the model that they are offering is not paying for the tank, it's paying for each sample. And they have a repository in which they can keep everything together. So this is tomorrow. And this is another company that is working, is called Conceivable. Conceivable, they are similar partners, they are the same owners. They want to put together in the same place all the robots that are able to do everything, with automatic notification, automatic ICSI, automatic sperm preparation, automatic dish preparation, a time-lapse culture system, and together with that, a place to evaluate or to do the denudation or to do a follow-up of the eggs. They have a render tool that is here. The name is called Aura. Is the world's first end-to-end automation of the IVF lab. They are claiming that. So they have several modules that are doing different things. There is a module doing for this preparation, for sperm, for embryos, for oocytes, for ICSI dishes and vitrification. Well, as you may see also there, if you take a look, all the steps or all the stages are close each other. A lake is like a robot that transports cells from one station to another. So in each station, you have one step, and of course, every activity is recorded, and you move from one to another. So it's something like that. I mean, it looks very nice. I think that there are still many things to be solved in between. Especially I would say in the denudation, like it is conceived. But I mean, it's interesting because at the end you are, let's say you are saying that you're going to have a robot that is going to do all the procedure in different steps that are in different modules, and in between one module and the other, the software is moving from one side to another, which is something like that. And totally automatic. So let's say that is a robotization of the process of the lab. Finally, they are talking about incubation, and this is the easiest part because you know that there are time-lapse incubators. So this is something like that, but you have several positions there, so it's like bigger. And in each of the chambers or in the positions, there is a possibility to use a camera to record everything. So it's time-lapse imaging will be native to the system. So in the system, the time-lapse will be present. And again, even if it's a big incubator, they are claiming that the dishes are moving inside or outside without affecting the culture conditions of the others. The concept of vitrification is different from what we have seen. Again, with liquid transporter, this is like a device that are collecting the embryos with a different way. Okay, so you have seen another device, very interesting. I mean, they are trying to compete everything. So to end, I would like to talk a little bit about the future. I mean, this is a paper that we did actually 3-4 years ago about what our visions of the future in 2030, sorry. And I mean, in between this, the people very well known, and you know, for example, Alison Campbell, and I have underlined what they say, but actually most of them believe that there will be a reduce in the practical demand of embryologists, whose role will emphasize in advising clinical colleagues and patients regarding the recommended treatment options. That's all. But at the end, it would be more, I think, of laboratory technicians that will play a clear role in this setting up and monitoring of the equipment, maintaining supplies, and performing routine tasks. So, I mean, it looks that the number of embryologists will reduce. This is a very, very common. And the embryologist will be more like a scientist and less technicians, let's say, those that are embryologists. David Garner always talk about that the level of education and experience will need to be increased for sure, because we will need to have more knowledge in the complexities that we are getting. So the experience and the understanding of the embryologist will be always required. I mean, we will always need embryologists to ensure always any implementation of new technology that will be in the market. You know already this guy. again, I believe that the new embryology will be quite much more technological. We will need more computer specialized and engineers more than embryologists in the classical way to do embryo manipulation and perform inequality control. I mean, definitely in this project, the job of embryologist is not doomed to disappear, but definitely will need to be changed. This is Kathleen Miller, very well known too, and believe that the embryologist will be involved in bench to take home baby research, exploring new aspects that are important in the culture system. So again, more researchers than really embryologists, because many of the tasks driving actually by the embryologists will be done by the robots probably. This is Marcus Montag, that believes that the embryologist will be more a science manager and with basic understanding of complex IVF, with very good skills in communication and interaction with laboratory technicians for sure. And we will need probably more technicians, more specialized in the daily work. This is a team of Cornell that they are also very, very well known and most experienced embryologists and labs in the world. They are thinking, for example, in products like the lab on a chip. That is the one that we have it in, for example, I was showing you from Conceivable, that we're going to do more tasks that are actually doing by embryologists. So embryologists actually will be more only dedicated to, to monitor the safe and proper action of the device. That will be probably the future. That's all. And of course, we will need also a part of that highly trained and skilled individuals more related with the address the most unusual causes of infertility for sure, because that will be always necessary. I mean, embryologists that are more aware about the most difficult cases, but let's say that this technology that is doing automation will work for the easiest things, but not for the more complicated. The team of Laura Rienzi, we're talking about we will need probably a different way of embryologist, will be no longer skilled, and will be more face-to-face, more demanding interaction with patients and things like that. So it's going to be a scenario in which the classical level of embryologist is going to decrease for sure. And this is Denis Sakas, that the embryologists probably will work more than the technicians, especially specializing in managing the devices that the standard embryologist. Michael Tucker is in the same way, thinking about this description that will be more managing, less hands-on and more equipment management role, and ensuring the complex work of the systems that will be quite much more complicated. Finally, just bring you here another publication that we did about the future of embryologists and about if the introduction of automated RT will render the majority of the embryologists redundant. And in this paper, I will say that the embryologists will be able to, let's say, broadcast in action the laboratory to make the information accessible and the growing demand from patients who are increasing to want more information. So at the end, our work also will be more to open this black box that is around embryology. And the future embryologists, apart of having basic knowledge of the complexity of IVF, should have good skills in communication, also focus in advising colleagues and patients, and recommend the best treatment options. Still, there are a few embryologists that will need to play a role in practical things, but will be quite much less for sure. And that's all from my side. Let me introduce some of the embryologists that are working with me in Valencia. If you want to follow me by Instagram, in marcos.meseguer. And this is the team of PhD students that are working with me in Valencia. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much. Let me stop sharing the screen. Give me a second.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Marcus, for such a wonderful insight. But as an embryologist, I would say this was a bit scary webinar. So this was the first time the webinar was scary for me. And but yes, in the concluding slides, you very well said that, okay, now what the future will bring for the embryologists, though they will be more oriented towards research and other purposes. Very well, you very well explained that took the journey right from the microfluidics to automation in pickup, automation in denudation and IXC, automation in vitrification. So everything is automated. So do you think that how this is going to increase the chances of mishandling, decrease the chances of mishandling, and increase the success rates? So how do you foresee this thing?
Well, if you take a look to companies like Conceivable, for example, that they are claiming already this. First of all, they are claiming that the risk of mistakes will be disappeared, will go to totally zero, so no mistakes at all with this technology. And then they are claiming that if we move to automation, the success of the IVF will increase dramatically. For example, we will move to 90% fertilization rate, 70% blastulation or 80% blastulation rate, because we're going to do better the ICSI. We're going to provide better conditions. So each step would be improved, 10% more fertilization, 20% more fertilization rate, 20% more implantation rate or live birth. So they are claiming that they are going to reduce the cost of the cycle, probably to 50%, and increase the chance of having a baby in 20-25%. They are claiming that. We will see that that will be like that. We will see if it's true that the technology will do it better than embryologists, and not only that, that also the results will be better. I'm sure that the machines probably will decrease the risk of mistake, probably, but I'm not sure that will increase the outcome. At least now, maybe in the near future will be increased.
Okay, I think that all the clinical directors, they are going to love this, to love to listen this.
They love already, but still, I mean, still is not a reality, but they are becoming closer. When they always ask me, Marco, do you think that the full automation is possible? And I say, yes, it's totally possible. It's just a question of money and time. How much is going to cost to do this automation? It's going to be the investment too much to be done, or it worth because the revenue will be higher. So at the end, everything is possible. It's just depending on the amount of money that they're going to put. That's all.
Okay, so I think we should directly jump onto the questions. We already have couple of questions there in the chat box. So to start with, hi, can you post your good evening, sir. It was really an excellent lecture, but my question is, can we trust on this automation?
I don't know if we can trust. We will see the results that they are claiming. If they claim good results, maybe we can trust. I don't know. And up to now, we don't have enough evidence to know if we can trust or not. But it looks promising.
It looks promising. It's until and unless you actually use these equipments and use this technology, then only you can say that yes, it is trustworthy or not.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the related question. It's a related. Sir, if a mistake occurs, who is responsible, the embryologist or the automated system?
If there is a mistake, the automatic system for sure, but then that's another thing, the liability. If we bought these systems or we put it into our lab, they should acquire the liability of the process. But as far as I know, at least companies like Conceivable, they are not being in the market to sell these devices to us. They want to do their own cycle, so they will become a competence to us. For example, imagine Conceivable, they put this laboratory in India, and they start to do cycles there, and then the doctors will send the patients to there. So these companies are not coming into the market to become our suppliers. They come into the market to perform IVF. So it's also a risk for us, like a clinics, because there will be another competitor, another player that will be in the market to do IVF.
Okay, and yes, quite related to what Nivash is asking. So this will also attract, this will produce some complications for the different regulatory bodies, because different regulatory bodies now then they will have to decide about the witnessing system, about the reproducibility of these equipments and all this.
It's going to be a lot of regulatory work for sure, a lot. a lot in order to reach these systems into the market. So it will take time. It will not be immediate. Probably these companies still, I mean, even they are not interested in all the world. They are just working initially in US, and then we will see they will jump to Europe or to Asia. But it's initially a thing that is going to be in United States, basically.
Just asking out of curiosity, what is your personal take on this? See, especially I don't know much about the Western world, but yes, if you see at this side of the world, so we have excess of manpower and skilled manpower. When I say manpower, they are skilled manpower. So do you really think that this technology is really needed?
They claim that it's needed in countries that there is no embryology, which is not the case, for example, of Spain, of many places of Europe, that you can find many embryologists, and I guess that in India is the same. That's not a reason behind. If the reason is to substitute the manpower because there's no manpower, this is not true. If the reason is because when you do automation, you reduce the cost and you increase the performance, is not also the case, for example, of Spain, or I'm sure that India, because the cost of a robot is quite much more expensive than a person. Person is cheaper than the robot. So it depends. I can tell you that in Spain, the embryologists are super cheap. So I barely believe that the robot will decrease the cost. But that's here, but not in other countries. And then, of course, if they claim that they are doing better, that's another thing.
Right. So I think Indian embryologists, they must be thinking why you are spending so much of pounds and dollars in exploring these technologies. Hire us.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's right.
It's true.
Yes,
It's true,
that's
but
all
US is another world. The price of the cycle is 4 times the price of the cycle here in Spain. So is everything super expensive, and there are very few embryologists. But it's not the case of here, and I guess it's not the case of India, in which the cost of the cycle is maybe 50% of the cost of Spain, and 20% the cost of US, or 10%.
Yeah, so it still seems to be a distant future for us. I mean, there are a lot of questions which came into the chat box with regards to the future itself. Like one such question is, it was a really insightful session. Thank you. What do you suggest should a budding embryologist focus to match this incredible automated IVF lab?
Exactly. I mean, the role of embryologist in any case should change. We should be less technicians and more scientists, and improve our communication abilities for sure.
Right. You very well actually conveyed that through your presentation also, that it's not just what you focus on your techniques. You need to know the science, you need to go behind the scenes, you need to have the consensus guidelines studied and the real basic science also being studied, because it would be more of a troubleshooting and managing the technician, for which you need to have the knowledge. And I think that's what everybody should aim at when it comes to match the automated systems. First, match your knowledge, and then you would be able to do a match. But what if these machines get stuck in between is the question, that what if they get stuck while doing the procedures?
Could be. They could have a technical problem. This is why you will not have embryology, but you will need to have an engineer there to solve the technical problems. Or maybe you need to have a backup embryologist to do something if the machine is not working. So still, there are many things in between that you will need to solve. If the machine does not work and you need to do the ICSI, you will need to have a backup microinjector to do that kind of things, for example, or to do a biopsy or to vitrify.
Yeah, so probably you'll have to have a backup machine as well in the lab.
Probably.
So jumping on to the next question, sustainability. Sustainability in the IVF lab has become a topic of interest in the past few years. Do you think automation would be sustainable in terms of energy efficiency, environment friendly, as well as cost efficiency?
Up to now, it's difficult to know if it will be sustainable or not, because we are not able to know to quantify the magnitude of the energy, or just the magnitude of the technical problems around this technology. So, and then regarding the cost, up to now, it's costing millions of euros to develop this. We will need to know if the cost of the execution is less than we believe, or is more. So again, it will depend on the country and the environment. They are always claiming in US, which is a country super expensive in everything.
Yeah.
But we should need to know if this is the same in other countries, for sure.
So we have the next ones like, does the time taken for the procedure increase with the help of robots?
I don't know. I mean, if you see the robot of conceivable, they does not look to be very quick, to be honest. So it will depend. But that robot does not look to be very quick, to be honest.
Right. Okay, I think with this we are almost through with all the questions for the day.
There is only one which is remaining, which was the one which we started with, that this looks scary. And the question is, can it completely replace embryologists in IVF procedures in future?
I mean, I always say the same, that we have to get ready for the future and need to be adapted. So we need to be not only technicians. We just don't need to go to the lab and just do our work and go home. We try to be a little bit more curious. We study more and be a little bit more ready for adoption, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the great way of looking at it, because that's, I mean, by the time we are ending, there's one question which also came again at the last, and that is, the clinical embryology courses are focusing on reproductive biology and practicals, but in future, if machines are making when we need to be more scientific, will biomedical engineering also become a major part of syllabus clinical embryology courses?
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
it's like that.
All right, so it's another box to be open up for our students.
Actually, so it was a very first-hand new experience for us too, and I think probably for most of the embryologists. So nobody had actually thought of that deeply, that one day technology is going to replace these manual methods. So
yeah, I think it's a long maybe a way for us in India. There's something which we know is the future is very exciting, very interesting. A lot of AIs are right now becoming a part of it, but it is dependent on cost, it is dependent on efficiency, and a lot of parameters are actually will be webbing things across to finally take a call in respective countries that will it be adapted easily or not. And for us, possibly as a developing economy or a developing country, maybe if in America this is becoming a possibility by 2030, we don't know, possibly for us it will be 35 or 40 or even later. So the future is there, which we know, which Marcus showed very well in the presentation. But for that, we also start to prepare ourselves with regards to the education, knowledge. I remember we had instrumentation as one of the topic in our syllabus, so that we understand our instruments more before getting into those things which we work at. And that's something which will be also important. So
yeah, actually, in short, yes, we also need to be prepared for the newer technology, and we must embrace any newer technology which is coming. It is for the betterment of the human at large, and it is better for our future generations as well.
Exactly. So we need to be prepared.
Yeah. So I think with this,
we are just at end of it. There might be a few questions, but maybe yes, we can pass on the questions to you, Marcus, and then reply it out to the people who have asked it. We have two questions which are unanswered, but we are at the end of our session.
Yeah. So these are basically more or less it's the repetition. About the cost, it's still in the, I think, in the
pilot phases.
Yeah, and so we cannot give the exact cost.
So the cost of pilot and the cost of bringing it to market, there will be huge difference in that.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
for
guys.
taking out time from your busy schedule and to speaking to our audience and speaking to our embryologists.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you. So till the
Bye.
next month, on the next third Friday with another KOL and another session, we'll come back with the IFS session. Till then, adios. See ya. Good night,
Adios.
everyone.
Bye bye. Bye.
Thank you.